The unexpected summons. The holographic transmission flickered with an ethereal blue light, casting strange shadows across Ethan Reyes' cramped research laboratory. Surrounded by ancient artifact replicas and intricate star maps, he leaned forward, his breath catching in his throat. The message was unlike anything he'd ever received during his decade-long career as a xenorchaeologist. No standard communication protocols, no diplomatic headers, just a series of pulsating geometric symbols that seemed to dance and shift with an intelligence of their own. Ethan's fingers traced the holographic interface, his deep brown eyes narrowing with a mixture of professional curiosity and cautious skepticism. The symbols were definitely not human in origin. That much was clear. They bore the unmistakable complexity of an advanced extraterrestrial communication system, far beyond current human technological capabilities. Dr. Reyes, a crisp voice interrupted his concentration. "We're receiving an unusual transmission from the Interstellar Research Station's primary communication array." His research assistant, Lena Torres, stood in the doorway, her tablet displaying a cascade of incoming data streams. Her usually composed demeanor was tinged with a hint of nervous excitement. "I've never seen anything like these signal patterns," Lena continued. "They're breaking every known communication protocol." Ethan leaned back in his chair, running a hand through his slightly disheveled dark hair. At 38, he was considered one of Earth's leading experts in xenological communication, having spent years studying potential extraterrestrial contact methods. Yet this transmission challenged everything he thought he knew. The geometric symbols continued their mesmerizing dance, seemingly inviting yet simultaneously cryptic. They reminded Ethan of ancient hieroglyphs, complex, layered with meaning, waiting to be deciphered. "Run a quantum encryption scan," he instructed Lena. "Cross-reference with our xenolinguistic databases. I want to know where these symbols originate." Minutes turned into hours as advanced computers processed the mysterious transmission. Ethan remained transfixed, his mind racing with possibilities. Humanity had long suspected intelligent life existed beyond Earth, but concrete evidence had always remained frustratingly elusive. As the final computational analysis completed, something extraordinary happened. The shifting symbols suddenly coalesced into a clear, structured message, an invitation. "Attention, Dr. Ethan Reyes." The translation began. "You are hereby summoned to the Galactic Convergence. Your unique understanding makes you the designated representative for humanity's first formal extraterrestrial diplomatic engagement." Lena gasped. This can't be real. But Ethan knew differently. The message carried a profound weight, an undeniable authenticity that sent shivers down his spine. This was no elaborate hoax or miscalculation. This was a genuine, unprecedented invitation from an alien civilization. The message continued, providing astronomical coordinates that pinpointed a location deep within an uncharted star system, a rendezvous point that seemed to exist simultaneously at the convergence of multiple spatial dimensions. "Prepare my research vessel," Ethan said quietly, his voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. "We're about to make history." Little did he know that this invitation would thrust humanity into a cosmic narrative more complex and extraordinary than anyone could have imagined. The galactic convergence awaited, and Ethan Reyes was about to become its unwitting central protagonist. Whispers of an ancient covenant. The quantum drive of the research vessel Horizon hummed with a low rhythmic pulse as it navigated the treacherous spatial currents between known star systems. Ethan Reyes stood at the observation deck, his reflection partially obscured by the swirling cosmic backdrop. Naira Voss watched him carefully from across the chamber. As the primary diplomatic representative of the Zenkari collective, she had been assigned to escort and observe the human envoy. Her crystalline skin shifted subtly, reflecting the ambient light in patterns that spoke of her species' complex emotional language. "You seem troubled," she said, her voice a melodic blend of harmonic frequencies, the human communication systems translated into clear speech. Ethan turned, surprised by her direct observation. "Is it that obvious?" A slight shimmer passed across Nira's skin, the Zenkeri equivalent of a smile. Your species wears emotions like external garments. They're impossible to conceal. The research vessel had been traveling for what seemed like an eternity, yet had covered only a fraction of the journey to the mysterious coordinates. Each parsec brought with it new challenges, spatial anomalies that defied conventional navigation, quantum interference that threatened to tear the ship's structural integrity. "Tell me about the convergence," Ethan requested, hoping to understand more about their destination. Naira's skin produced a complex pattern of blues and silvers, a response that their translation matrix interpreted as reluctance. "Some histories are not meant to be shared lightly," she responded. But something in Ethan's persistent gaze seemed to break through her diplomatic restraint. She approached a holographic interface, her movements fluid and precise. "Thousands of your solar cycles ago," Naira began, "our civilizations were more connected than current historical records suggest. There was a moment, a brief, extraordinary period, when multiple species existed in a delicate cosmic harmony." The hologram flickered to life, displaying intricate star maps showing interconnected civilizations. Species that looked nothing like humans or Zenkeri, some crystalline, some energy-based, some so alien they defied conventional biological classification. "What happened?" Ethan asked, transfixed by the display. Naira's response was cryptic, a great forgetting, a deliberate erasure of collective memory that spans multiple galactic civilizations. Suddenly, the ship's emergency systems blared to life. Spatial readings went haywire, quantum stabilizers began to overload, and the very fabric of space around them seemed to twist and contort. "Quantum breach detected," the ship's AI announced. "Spatial integrity at 62% and declining." Ethan rushed to the navigation console, his hands flying across holographic controls. Years of training kicked in, but this was beyond anything in standard emergency protocols. Naira remained unnaturally calm. Her skin now produced a complex pattern of deep crimson and metallic gold, a color combination that their translation matrix failed to interpret. "We're approaching a convergence point," she said, her voice carrying the weight of ancient knowledge, a location where multiple realities intersect. The ship began to vibrate, not with the expected mechanical stress, but with a resonance that seemed to come from somewhere beyond physical space. Quantum entanglement indicators went wild, showing connections to points that shouldn't mathematically exist. "Hold on," Naira said, her hand unexpectedly touching Ethan's. "What comes next will challenge everything you understand about reality." As the horizon approached the mysterious coordinates, the line between known science and incomprehensible cosmic mystery began to blur. Whatever awaited them was more than a diplomatic mission. It was a threshold to something profound and transformative. The universe, it seemed, had been waiting for this moment. The forgotten artifact. The abandoned research outpost loomed like a ghost against the moon's desolate landscape. Twisted metal and shattered crystal panels jutted from the rocky terrain, silent witnesses to a catastrophe long forgotten. Dr. Rowan Blackwood's environmental suit moved cautiously across the broken ground, each step kicking up clouds of silvery dust. "Structural integrity is surprisingly stable," he muttered into his communication system. The outpost had been abandoned for decades, perhaps centuries. Yet something about its layout suggested a deliberate, calculated abandonment rather than a sudden disaster. Specialized scanning equipment began mapping the interior of the complex. Rowan's expertise in xenotechnology had brought him to this remote location, a tip from an underground network of researchers who traded whispers about impossible discoveries. The main entrance sealed itself behind him with a pneumatic hiss. Inside, the facility remained eerily preserved. Holographic displays flickered with ghost-like remnants of data, fragments of information that danced just beyond comprehension. "System diagnostic," Rowan commanded. The suit's AI responded instantly, cutting through layers of encrypted data streams. A central chamber revealed itself, circular, with walls that seemed to pulse with an internal luminescence. At its center stood a singular object that defied conventional understanding. It wasn't a machine, Nor was it purely organic. Something in between, a technological artifact that seemed to breathe with its own consciousness. Rowan approached carefully. The object was roughly the size of a human torso, composed of interlocking geometric shapes that shifted and realigned even as he watched. Crystalline structures merged with what appeared to be organic circuitry, creating a hybrid form of technology beyond current scientific understanding. Quantum resonance detected, his suit's eye warned. Unknown energy signature building. The artifact began to respond to his proximity. Tendrils of light extended, not threateningly, but with a curious intelligence. They moved like tentative fingers, exploring the space around Rowan without making direct contact. Suddenly, a burst of information flooded his suit's systems. Fragments of memory, glimpses of civilizations long extinct, technological concepts so advanced they bordered on magic, all cascaded through the communication interface. "What are you?" Rowan whispered. The artifact pulsed. A holographic projection erupted around him. Star maps, technological schematics, and what appeared to be a complex timeline of galactic evolution. At its core was a recurring pattern, a symbol that matched the transmission Ethan Reyes had received weeks earlier. Something profound was connecting these seemingly random events. The artifact was more than a technological relic. It was a key. A distant communication pinged through his suit's systems. It was Nira Voss, the Zenkari diplomat who had been tracking Ethan Reyes' journey. "Dr. Blackwood," her voice carried a rare hint of urgency. "Whatever you've discovered, do not activate the primary interface. The consequences could be catastrophic." But curiosity had always been Rowan's greatest weakness. As his fingers hovered near the artifact's central interface, he knew he was about to make a choice that would change everything. The universe held its breath. Convergence of destinies. The uncharted star system defied conventional astronomical models. Spatial readings fluctuated wildly, creating a celestial landscape that seemed to breathe and shift with living intelligence. Ethan Reyes and Nira Voss stood side by side on the horizon's bridge, watching as reality itself seemed to warp around their vessel. "We're approaching the convergence point," Nira announced, her crystalline skin now displaying a complex pattern of deep blues and silver streaks that suggested intense concentration. Ethan's fingers danced across the holographic interface, cross-referencing the bizarre spatial readings with every scientific model he'd ever studied. Nothing made sense. The star system appeared to exist in multiple states simultaneously, a quantum probability made manifest. A communication burst interrupted their observations. It was Rowan Blackwood, his voice carrying an edge of barely contained excitement. "I found something," he transmitted. "The artifact I discovered. It's not just a piece of technology. It's a bridge." Before either Ethan or Nira could respond, the ship's quantum sensors went into overdrive. The space around them fractured, revealing glimpses of realities that could not, exist simultaneously. Spatial integrity failing, the ship's eye warned. Multiple dimensional interfaces detected. Nira's hand instinctively reached for Ethan's, her touch carrying a strange electromagnetic charge. "The Covenant is awakening," she whispered, a phrase that seemed to carry millennia of hidden meaning. Holographic displays erupted around them, showing fragments of history, civilizations rising and falling, cosmic conflicts that spanned entire galaxies, and at the center of it all, a recurring pattern, a symbol that connected everything. Rowan's voice cut through the chaos. "The artifact is responding to something. It's like it's been waiting." Suddenly, the space around the horizon transformed. What had been a void became a tapestry of potential realities. Ethan could see multiple versions of himself, of Nira, of entire civilizations existing simultaneously. "A quantum nexus," Nira explained, her voice calm despite the extraordinary circumstances. "A point where all potential timelines converge." The artifact Rowan had discovered began to project its data directly into their ship's systems. Fragments of a lost history began to take shape, a time when multiple species worked in harmony, before something caused a great forgetting. We're not just discovering something, Ethan realized. We're remembering. A massive spatial disturbance erupted around them. The ship's quantum shields began to buckle under the immense energy. Whatever was happening transcended normal scientific understanding. Rowan's final transmission broke through the interference. "The artifact is a key," he said, "and we're about to unlock something that was never meant to be forgotten." The space around them continued to fracture, revealing glimpses of a cosmic truth that had been hidden for millennia. Ethan, Neera, and Rowan found themselves at the center of a revelation that would challenge everything humanity thought it knew about its place in the universe. The convergence was happening, and there was no turning back. Revelation of the Starborn. The Galactic Council chamber stretched beyond normal dimensional limits, a vast space that seemed to exist simultaneously everywhere and nowhere. Ethan Rice, Neera Voss, and Rowan Blackwood stood at the center, surrounded by representatives from countless civilizations that defied human comprehension. Holographic projections danced around them, revealing fragments of a history long forgotten. The artifact Rowan had discovered now hovered between them, pulsing with an intelligence that seemed to connect every being in the chamber. "The truth emerges," a crystalline being from the Centurion delegation announced, its voice resonating through multiple sensory frequencies. "Humanity was never an isolated species. You were part of a larger cosmic design." Rowan stepped forward, his scientific mind struggling to process the revelations. The artifact began to reconstruct a narrative that had been deliberately erased from collective memory. Millennia ago, a coalition of advanced civilizations had created a complex network of cosmic guardians. Humanity was not just another developing species, but a crucial component of a larger universal balance. Each civilization contributed a unique aspect of cosmic evolution, and humans brought something extraordinary: adaptive creativity. "Your species possesses a rare quantum potential," Neera explained, her crystalline skin shifting with complex emotional patterns. "The ability to reimagine reality itself." The holographic displays showed moments of human history, seemingly random innovations, unexpected scientific breakthroughs, moments of collective inspiration that defied logical progression. Each instance was a thread in a much larger cosmic tapestry. Ethan realized the profound implication. "We were never alone," he said quietly. "We were part of something much larger." The artifact began to pulse more intensely. Memories flooded the chamber, not just historical data, but emotional resonances. The collective experiences of multiple civilizations converged, showing how humanity's unique capacity for adaptation and innovation had been crucial in maintaining cosmic equilibrium. Rowan's scientific analysis confirmed what seemed impossible. "The artifact is more than a communication device," he announced. "It's a reset mechanism, a way to reconnect civilizations that were deliberately separated." Representatives from various alien delegations began to share their perspectives. The Zenkeri, the Centurions, energy-based civilizations that existed beyond physical form, all confirmed fragments of the lost history. A great forgetting was initiated, a being of pure energy explained. To protect the cosmic balance, certain connections had to be severed. Humanity was isolated to prevent a potential catastrophic convergence. But now that isolation was ending. Ethan, Neera, and Rowan found themselves at the epicenter of a revelation that would reshape understanding of humanity's place in the universe. They were not just witnesses, but active participants in reconnecting a fragmented cosmic network. As the Galactic Council session concluded, the artifact began to dissolve, not disappearing, but integrating itself into the consciousness of every being present. A final gift, a final connection. "What happens now?" Ethan asked, looking at Neera. She smiled, her crystalline skin reflecting the complexity of the moment. "Now we rebuild. Now we remember." The universe held its breath, waiting for humanity's next move.